Welcome to Videorial W07004 Microsoft Web Basics, the Home Menu Part 2, Font Formatting. Okay, I'm just going to start by opening up Microsoft Office. Now in this Videorial I'm going to be talking about font formatting. It's positioned on this area, or in this area of the Home menu, on the ribbon at the top of the screen. Okay, I'm going to type in some text. This would be, in a normal document, it would be a title or a heading. Okay, I've typed my text in. It's applied default formatting. In this case, it's chosen a Calibri typeface, 11 point in size. Okay, not a massive fan of Calibri. Calibri doesn't exist on every type of computer. I tend to go for a font that I know will open on a Mac or a PC. So anyway, I'm going to change it. Now I click the drop down. Now the fonts at the top are themed fonts. They're fonts that are sort of embedded in Word, if you like. They're set fonts for various things within Word. For example, you know, like if you look at styles here, these will all have these fonts applied to them. Okay, I tend to steer clear of them. I like to choose my own fonts, not be led by what Word is going to tell me to use. Recently used fonts, you can see that these are fonts that I've used recently for various things. Arial is a favourite for me. It basically makes choosing the font quicker. If you use a font more often, it will come up at the top, so you can select it quickly rather than having to scroll down. However, if you do want to choose something more unusual, or something specific for the document, depending on what you're doing, something that looks business-like, something that's more child-friendly, for example, you can scroll down, and actually you'll see on the screen in the background here, as you scroll through it, it will change it interactively. Let's just try that again. There you go. You can see it in the background changing. Anyway, I've chosen Arial. I want to change the size. This is the title, so I'm going to make it, let's say, 18 point. Okay, now you'll notice that to change it I can just literally select from a list of options, but it's quite limited. It doesn't allow me to go below 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It misses 13, misses 15, 17, 19 and so on. You can only select from the most commonly used sizes. Okay, if I want to put something in there that's not on the list, I just type it in. 6, for example. Way too small. Now, what I can do is, to speed things up even more, is to use these buttons here to increment. Now it will increment or go up or down according to the sizes in this menu here. So I can go 10, 11, 12, 14, 16, 18. I can also make it smaller. Okay. Now this button here will remove any formatting that I've applied or that you've applied altogether. So let's just see what happens when I click it. It removes it and goes back to the default settings which it applied when you first opened the document. I'll just undo that. I don't want to have to do that again. Now, moving down to this area here, I can add emphasis or change the style of the font or the typeface. Okay. Now, if I wanted to, I could make this section here bold. It adds emphasis. I could make it italic and underline, but to be honest, if you're adding emphasis, please try to just restrict it to one style, okay? If you apply more styles, it just looks messy and it doesn't look good. It certainly doesn't look professional. So stick to one. If it's going to be bold, then make it bold. If it's italic, I quite like the bold. Now, if you want to make it stand out even more, what I would suggest you do is you change the font to a black font. Okay? I don't particularly like that look, but you'll notice if you apply bold to a font that's already been made bigger or fatter, if you like, because it's a black font, it won't make a difference. Okay? So anyway, I'll just go back. Back. There we go. Arial. I'm just going to apply some bold. I could make that italic. Depends on your preference. That doesn't particularly do anything for me. Now, I've got some text, so I'm happy with the title. I'm going to add some normal paragraph text. Okay, now I've got some in on the clipboard. I'm going to paste special, unformatted. There we go. I've got some text. Now you'll notice that it's applied the same formatting. Now that's because where the cursor was last, any text inserted after the cursor, whatever formatting the cursor has at this particular point, it will replicate. Okay, now that's not what I want. I'm quite happy with the size, the typeface. I don't particularly want the size to be 18. I want it to be 12. If you're doing paragraph text, for example, in a letter or any document for that matter, try not to make it bigger than 12 point. It kind of looks childish. It doesn't look professional, and it also, when my students do it, I always think that they've done it to try and make a little piece of work look more. Okay, so try and steer clear of it. So anyway, I've changed the size. I can apply emphasis within the text, or italicize something, for example, to just draw it out from the normal body of text. I can also change the formatting of some of these. For example, the underline. I can actually choose different styles. Never use it myself, but whatever floats your boat. So there are extra options for underline. Now, if I'm marking a piece of students' work, and they've, let's just correct that to would. Now, if I want to show them that they've spelt it wrongly, I can use Strikethrough. Okay, and I would usually type the correct spelling in afterwards. Okay, now to draw their attention to it, I would also quite often apply some colour, which you can do here. Now, whatever the last colour was that you used is the colour that will come up in this box here. Okay, so let's say I chose a green, it changes to green. Red. Now there's quite a few standard colours, but if you want more colours, you can just either select this kind of rainbow box if you like, if you want something specific. But to be honest, to speed things up, I tend to just use the default colours. Okay. So that explains Strikethrough. Now to turn Strikethrough off, you just click it again. On, off, on. Okay. Now next to Strikethrough is subscript. Now this is used for things like chemical formulas. So let's say, for example, we're doing a piece, an essay on some aspect of chemistry, and you want to put chemical formula in. Now, to make a piece of text or a letter or a word, whatever, subscript, you select it, subscript. Okay? Subscript. Turn it off, on. Okay? Now something else that you might want to do, and it's used in maths quite a bit, for example if something's cubed or squared, or if you're doing degrees centigrade. So if I do x squared, okay, x squared, to make it superscript, on, off, on, off, on. Now just bear in mind that if you've got your cursor here, and you carry on typing, it will carry on typing in superscript. Okay, so let's try another one. 5 degrees centigrade. Let's make the degrees symbol. There we go. 5 degrees centigrade. Now there is also a symbol that you can use for that. Depends on what you're used to or what's quicker for you. Now, moving along again, this button here with various options, this enables you to change the font. You can toggle whether you want uppercase, capitalise each word. Sometimes you might want to use it for... So let's take this option here. If we want to capitalise each word, we can do it very quickly. If you've got an essay that's 5,000 words, you can change the whole lot very quickly. If you want all lowercase, toggle case. Okay, now whatever the case was originally, it will switch to the opposite, toggle. So sort of uppercase, lowercase. So if I just go back a few steps and I make it first letter of each word uppercase, now if I toggle, it does the opposite. Okay, I tend not to use it very often. The most common one is when you copy and paste something from the internet and it comes across in capitals. For example, right, here we go. Now, if I want to just convert that to normal sentence, so first letter of the sentence is capitalized and so on, very easy to do it like that. Much, much quicker. Okay, now, there's only one last thing to show you. Well, actually, there's a couple of things. If you're reviewing a piece of work or you're reading it for, I don't know, you're doing a research project or something and you're reading someone else's work and you want to highlight certain aspects of it, a phrase or a word, you can use the highlighter pen. Okay, now you can either select the text and then just hit the button. Okay, you can change the colour. So, or let's just undo that. So let's say we want it in red. Okay, now you'll see it's changed. The cursor has changed to what looks like a highlighter pen. And what you've got to do is place not the point of the pen, which is on the far left corner, but click the cursor left of the word that you want to highlight, or words. Scroll or move and let go. Okay, I'll just do that again. So I want to, there we go, and let go. Okay, let's just undo that. Again, if you want to highlight and unhighlight, let's just change the colour. If I select it again, I can say no colour. Okay, so it's really quite useful if you're reviewing or taking notes from a piece of work for revision. Right, the very last thing, this dialog box, this little box in the corner here, it enables you to pretty much do what you can do very quickly on the menu here, but with a few extra additional tweaks, if you like, extra things that you can do. And it's really good because it gives you a preview of what it's going to look like. So let's just say we wanted to see, there's strike through, double strike through. Okay, if you really want to add some emphasis and say, well, look, you've really done it wrong. Superscript, subscript. You can also apply a shadow. Now that's not something that's used very often, which is why it's not on the main menu. You can outline it. That's sometimes quite a nice effect, actually. You can make it look embossed, engraved, and so on. Okay? Everything that you can do here, and more, you can do via this dialog box. Now, character spacing is hugely important, okay? Especially when you're doing things like magazines, when you're trying to get a word to fit, or you want to make a title look wider, or the spacing in between characters. This is where you can do it, okay? So let's say, for example, we want to stretch this top title. So what I'll do is I'll go in here with it highlighted, and let's say I want to expand it. I'm going to select expand, and you'll see down here it will give you .4. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, it's not a bad effect. Let's say, for example, that I wanted to get rid of just on that particular word. There we go. That's quite nice. That is pretty much it for font formatting. Thank you for watching.